이러려고 이포에 왔어요? 내가 그렇게 만만합니까?
내가 그렇게 나쁩니까?
Hey everybody,
Hello.
welcome back to our channel. We have a brand new video for you today, and yeah, this is actually something we've never done before.
It's our first time.
Yeah,
Try something new.
but we wanted to share it with you.
Oh.
And we're actually going to be reviewing a film today, and that film is?
Decision to Leave.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a Park Chan Wook film. Park Chan Wook has made Old Boy, Lady Vengeance, Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, Thirst, I'm a Cyborg but That's Okay, among a ton of other films, Stoker, the list goes on.
Yeah.
The Handmaiden. But I've really been waiting for his most recent film, and it is finally out. We're actually launching this video a day after the film comes out. We've seen it twice already, and yeah, it's officially out in North America as of October 14th, so there will be spoilers in this video. I think this is going to go live probably on the 15th, if not the 14th.
Yeah.
Yeah, mainly because we're going to be discussing the ending, and we don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it in the theaters. But yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah. Let's start from the story.
Yeah, so this is a kind of a very unique Park Chan Wook film because I haven't really seen him touch on like a romance story since maybe I'm a Cyborg but That's Okay. And this is a very different kind of film. You're following a detective and an immigrant to South Korea who's played by a really phenomenal Chinese actress.
Tang Wei.
Yeah, and you know, the film itself is full of these kind of Park Chan Wook isms, where it's not a very clear-cut story. Visually, it's beautiful. I'm really looking forward to this coming out on Blu-ray so we can kind of see 4K.
Yes.
You know, imagery. It's really, really well shot film though. And overall, it's about, this detective and this lady who kind of keeps having her husbands die.
Because looks like the case like an accident. The victim fell from a cliff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the story starts from there. And then they find out the victim has his initial on his own personal properties everywhere. So then they find out his cell phone has a young woman picturing the photo together, and they thought is his daughter. Actually is his wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really kind of interesting because it is an older man.
Yes.
And there is a language barrier in the film where the detective, is kind of working with Tong Wei's character, the wife, but he just doesn't understand why she's married to this older guy.
Yes. I think once the case it was processing, they was digging into it. Yeah, he's more attached to her, and then find out she's the victim in their marriage with the guy who fell off from the cliff, right? And she's kind of like he's the detective, like more and more interesting about her.
Right. Yeah, he becomes kind of obsessed with her. He goes to her house and he's always kind of looking in her window. Kind of creepy, actually. She's very protected. She has like this government status. You learn later that, she's actually wanted in China for murdering her own mother with fentanyl. And fentanyl comes into play in the story as well, which I think is very relevant for the times we're living in. There's a moment in the story where there's a kind of loan shark, and You don't know if he killed her second husband or not. They wind up kind of moving all over the place, and keep in mind the detective's married, but he moves away after the first case. He finds out that she did actually murder her husband, the guy that fell off the cliff, and ultimately he moves away to be with his wife. He needs to get away from her, but he gives her a cell phone, and the cell phone has evidence on it.
To prove she's the murderer.
Yeah. Ultimately, there's a lot of iPhones and Mac products in this film, so there are Android devices, but there's so many like iPhones and Apple Watches that you almost think like Apple paid for the movie.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. But this phone in particular was not an Apple device, and he tells her to cast it into the ocean. And basically, she falls in love with him then. At that moment, she falls in love with the detective.
Yeah. This is the most romantic part in this movie to me, because the moment he found out she's the murderer, and he decided to leave her back to his wife.
Yeah.
And this is also the same moment she starts falling in love with him.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, he moves back, and suddenly she shows up, and she sees him and his wife kind of in a market with her new husband. Like a year later, she's already remarried, and so this awful guy who winds up dying like really soon after they move. Yeah. So the story kind of goes from there, and ultimately you learn that she wasn't responsible for the second guy's death, but she was responsible for cleaning up. Because she remembers the detective doesn't like blood, doesn't like these things. She cleans up the scene to really make sure the detective isn't grossed out.
Yeah, because she knows the detective afraid of the blood, so that's why she cleaned the body. But one thing I have to say, even though she wasn't the murderer for her second husband's death, but she hinted the person, the murderer, to kill her husband, the second husband.
Yeah, it's very true. Very true. But ultimately, she was trying to protect the detective, because you learn that, her second husband was going to use kind of a recording of her telling her to cast her phone into the ocean as proof that the Korean judicial system was kind of corrupt and was letting people off the hook. So yeah, her second husband was really using her as well. And ultimately, the detective finds out about this and kind of brings us to the end of the movie, which is definitely a very open-ended. She tells the detective that he told her that he loved her. And he doesn't remember saying that. Later, he gets the phone that she was supposed to cast into the ocean, and he hears the recording of himself telling her to cast that phone into the ocean. And that ultimately, to her, meant that he loved her. And that's when she said she started loving him.
Yes, because if he doesn't love her, he will just turn the cell phone into his superior and to get her arrested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's very kind of open. At that point, she goes to the beach, digs herself a hole, and allows the ocean to cover her up. And the film kind of ends with him on that beach looking for her. You know, as the audience member, that the water has already filled in the hole, but you don't know if she's still in the hole. You don't really have the verification that she is dead at the end of the film. You believe she is. At least I believe she is. Yeah. But he's searching for her at the end of the film, and it just kind of cuts out there.
Yeah. To me, I want to choose she's in the hole and she died in the hole. And he never able to find her body or something like that, because before she said she wants to become unsolved case to him, because any unsolved case to this detective, he has a board and he put the pictures, evidence, and try to connect everything to himself, try to solve it. So she wants herself to stay on his board forever. So
he has to look at her.
Yeah, he will never forget about her. Yeah.
I think with that, I'm ready to review this film. You know, I'd love to hear anybody's thoughts in the comments below. What you think about Decision to Leave by Park Chan Wook. But here's what we think. Out of 5 stars, what would you rate Decision to Leave?
4.8.
Yeah, for me, I was actually going to go with a 4.8 as well. So yeah, it's a 4.8 from us. It's almost perfect. I don't think it's quite as good as some of his other films. I think Old Boy is much stronger. Maybe even Sympathy for Lady Vengeance. We're talking about a really good director here. The Handmaiden was really good. But this definitely is up there, and I can't wait to watch it again. We've seen it twice.
Yes.
And we'd love to hear your take in the comments below. Yeah, let us know, and please remember, if you like the video, hit the like button, and yeah, please subscribe to the channel. We really want YouTube to know that people are watching the videos. It would be really helpful as we try to grow our subscriber base.
Yeah, thank you very much for the support.
Yeah, have a great day everyone, and we'll see you again soon.
You will.